In our first case is cause number M330186. Case of South State of Texas versus Richard Anthony Hebert. Mr. Hebert, would you come forward? Morning. This is cause number M330186, case of South State of Texas versus Richard Anthony Hebert. Mr. Hebert, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, Mr. Hebert?
Very good.
Okay, that's good. Now, Mr. Hebert, your attorney of record is attorney Terrence Allison. However, Mr. Allison is not here. Standing in for attorney Terrence Allison is attorney Marivius Allen. Does Mr. Allen have your permission to stand in for attorney Allison?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And again, attorney Allen, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing, Judge?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. State is represented in this case by attorney Erica Porter. Attorney Porter, how are you doing?
Great.
Now, Mr. Allen, what is your announcement in Mr. Hebert's case?
Yeah, I believe we're on the pre-trial docket. We're just going to move to the trial docket.
Okay.
Probably.
Give us a trial date.
October 9th.
Okay, this case will be reset for trial October 9th of 2023. Mr. Hebert, your attorney, Mr. Allen, is going to get you reset. Once you get your reset from Mr. Allen, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. And Attorney Allen, you're free to go as well. You have a blessed day.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Desmond Harper here, sir. Why don't you go have a seat out in the hallway? Hey, sir, why don't you go have a seat in the hallway? Is Desmond Harper here? Okay, we'll give you a little bit more time. It's just 9:15.
Your Honor,
Move.
Hmm?
I'm going to move from office.
It's just 15 minutes after. I mean,
he's got a pending felony, as I understand it, so he may have the
Oh.
dates confused.
oh,
but
you know
at
what?
any
You
rate-
know what? He's in jail.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I see here what it says, jail. Yes,
Oh, I didn't.
he's in jail.
Okay. Anyway, so I was asking.
He must have a felony date set the day.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so we just need to keep track of his felony case. See, felony case, yes, set today. Yeah, it is set today.
So if you could, if he gets that reset, if you could just reset this along with that, I'd appreciate that.
Okay, okay. Okay, you're free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Yes. He's in jail. Yeah. Barbara. The gentleman we just finished. Here we go on the trial docket. Next case is cause number M329730, case in South State of Texas versus Jason Oliver Chandler. Mr. Chandler, would you come forward with your attorney?
Oh, yes, you.
Yeah. Judge, like save some time, me and Mr. Megan are talking.
Okay, I'll just hold on it.
We'll get hold
Okay. Douglas County Code Law number 2 is back in session. Next case is cause number M327954, case of South State of Texas versus Erica Alice Reese. Ms. Reese, would you please come forward? Ms. Reese, your full name is Erica Alice Reese. How you doing, Ms. Reese? That's good, Ms. Reese. You're representing your case by your attorney Langston Adams. Attorney Adams, how are you doing?
Doing well.
Mr. Adams, what is your announcement in Ms. Reese's case?
This is our final reset. Last time we was in court in June, we had asked to reset to get the video. I got the video. She's coming to my office tomorrow at 4 o'clock to watch it. So I do have.
Need to reset it for announcement. Okay, give us a reset date.
October 16th.
Okay, this case, Ms. Reese, will be reset to October 16, 2023. Your attorney is going to get your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you're free to go. You have a blessed day. Next case is cause number M333206, case of South State of Texas versus David L. Manning. Mr. Manning, please come forward. Let's see, this is. This is on the pre-trial. It's docket,
Yes, I'll tell you why.
man.
Man.
Yeah, hold on a minute. This is cause number M333206, case of South State of Texas versus David Manning. Mr. Manning, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How are you doing, Mr. Manning? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Manning, you're represented in your case by your attorney Langston Adams. Attorney Adams, what is your announcement
I think
in Mr. Manning's case?
I think the reason why I was on pre-trial back is I applied for pre-trial diversion. Mr. Connaught sent me a letter, Pat Connaught, denying my client for the pre-trial diversion program. So right now, what I am is I submitted my video request, and I know that there's one USB video
That you need to get?
Yes, that's I need to get on that, and then I'll be ready to make an announcement. But he did deny me the pre-trial diversion.
Okay, now, Mr. Manning, let me hold on a minute. Okay, Mr. Manning, your case is going to be reset, give your attorney opportunity to get the discovery that he needs to get. And once you get your reset from your attorney, you're free to go, and you have a blessed day. You're welcome.
We're gonna put this on announcements.
Yes, we're gonna keep it on, what docket is it on? Keep it on pre-trial.
All right, thanks.
Okay, you are. Y'all excuse me, y'all have a blessed day. Okay. Attorney Ricardo Peraza.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. We just called the name of your client and your client here yet.
My apologies. Just I'm in a courtroom in Montgomery County. Let me move over to where it's a little more quiet. My apologies. Judge, actually an appeal matter from a JP court. And
Okay.
I've been dealing with ADA, Mr. Cornelius. I spoke with him on Friday because the reason why I'm not there, Judge, is I'm actually on the trial docket here in Montgomery County. And I
Okay.
didn't know as of 9 this morning whether my case was to be the one that goes or not. Turns out we're not, so that's why I'm now checking in with the court. And I was advised just to pop in, explain the situation, and we can see where we go from there, Judge.
Yeah, your client has to make an appearance either in person or by Zoom. If they don't have availability on Zoom, we can allow them to make it by telephone. So what I was going to do is give
My
you some.
apologies. I was going to let you know I can definitely get him on Zoom if I give him the opportunity to call him.
Okay, that's right. Well, we'll hold on your case and we'll call it back up.
Wonderful, Judge. And one last little caveat: we actually already have a deal in place worked out with the state, so we're just supposed to be entering into an agreement.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, you're welcome.
Pácaro. Entonces, pregunto a ver si puedo extender la barra. Te debo algo que no me quería saludar hoy como tú me saludas. Es que estoy con la cabeza loco. Oh, ¿cómo no? Mira con quién estoy hablando. ¿Cómo no entonces? Con el abogado, ¿qué tú crees que sabes que esto es Grandes Ligas aquí?
Must be Miss Bello. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is
Yeah.
back in session. The court is in session in cause number 23CCCR 1056. Case is style of State of Texas versus Yasniel Pina Abello. Mr. Abello is appearing via Zoom. Mr. Abello is represented in his case by attorney Ricardo Peraza. Mr. Peraza, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, your client, does he speak English?
He does not, Judge. He's a Spanish speaker.
Okay. Tell Mr. Abello that I asked how he was doing.
Señor Albelo, el juez te está preguntando cómo es que estás hoy.
Bien. ¿Y él cómo está?
He said,
Good.
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Judge. And yourself?
Oh, I'm doing fine. Tell him thanks for asking.
Dice, gracias por preguntar.
Now, Mr. Peraza, what is your announcement in Mr. Abello's case?
Judge, as I explained, this is an appeal matter from a JP court, and based on my communications with the state, we have an agreement in place and would just need a new setting date to be able to appear in court in person and enter into said agreement.
Okay, how much time do you need?
Really not a lot of time, Judge, a couple of weeks if possible.
Reset date. Okay, this case is gonna be reset to October 16th of 2023 for a plea. Attorney Peraza, your reset will be sent to you, and you can tell Mr. Abello to stay in contact with you for his reset date, and you can tell him the date is October 16th, 2023, and both you and your client need to be here in person.
Wonderful. Señor Albelo, nos van a aplazar la fecha de corte para el 16 de octubre a las 9 de la mañana. So el 16 de octubre, ese día, ambos, vos y yo, tenemos que estar presentes para resolver este caso.
Okay, now this will conclude your case. You're free to go, Mr. Abello. You have a blessed day, and you're free to go as well, Attorney Peraza, and you have a blessed day as well.
Thank you, Judge. Señor Albelo, esto concluye la reunión de hoy. Ya tenés libertad de poder salirte del sistema. Y que tengas buen día. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Mr. Porter, is Alexis Rayo present?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is cause number M326413, case of style of State of Texas versus Alexis Raphael Rayo. Mr. Rayo, is that your full name?
Yes.
How are you doing, Mr. Rayo? That's good. Mr. Rayo, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Ryan Matuska. Attorney Matuska, how are you doing? Good morning. State is represented in this case by Attorney Erica Porter. Attorney Porter, how are you doing?
Great one.
Mr. Matuska, what is your announcement in Mr. Rayo's case?
Right.
State,
We're ready.
okay? Okay. We'll be back tomorrow at 1:30. We set for trial.
Sure.
Okay. If that changes, we'll give you a call. versus Adrian Gonzalez Fontes.
So I can get with the prosecutor.
Okay, I'll hold on it. This is cause number M3328284, case is style the state of Texas versus Brandon Gaskin. Mr. Gaskin is appearing via Zoom. Mr. Gaskin, you could take your mic off of mute. Mr. Gaskin, how are you doing?
Good, Your Honor, and you?
I'm doing fine. Now, Mr. Gaskin, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Ryan Gertz. Attorney Gertz is not here today because he's in trial in Orange County. And so he filed a motion for continuance in this case, asking that this case be reset for another trial date. Okay, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Gaskins, do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And the state is not opposed, is that correct, state?
No, we're not.
Okay, the state is not opposed to this motion for continuance in this case. And so your case is going to be reset. Give us a reset date.
October 2nd.
Okay, this case will be reset for, let's see. This case is going to be reset for trial for October 2nd, you said?
Yes, sir.
October 2nd of 2023. Mr. Gaskin, stay in contact with your attorney. You're free to go. And you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Okay, the gentleman that's on Zoom that is, this has iPhone 4, please state your full name.
Emmett Young.
Emmett Young. Okay, Mr. Young, you can put your mic back on mute. Mr. Young, we're waiting for your attorney to arrive.
Okay, Your Honor.
Okay. When you arrive, we'll call your case back up.
Okay.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Rogers. Now, Mr. Rogers, I see here that you are pro se, which means you're representing yourself in this case. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And I see here that you had filled out the judge's explanation of rights to defendants without an attorney, informing you that you had a right to either hire an attorney, right to apply for a court-appointed attorney, or if you also had a right to waive your right for an attorney and to represent yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And on that document, you chose to waive your right to an attorney and to represent yourself.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Is that correct? Now, hold on a minute.
Judge, I do remember Mr. Rogers. I remember he was here on arraignment the last time. He lives out of state.
Yes.
And he's also being transferred again to another job point. I think we reset it to make work out and stuff with his job.
Oh, okay.
Correct. And I do remember, now that he's here and see him, I do remember he lives, I believe, in Georgia, right?
Yeah, Kansas City, but I'm working in Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay,
He
okay.
works around, but he's no longer a resident of Texas.
Right, right.
So we reset it so they could work out his stuff to come back and take care of this.
Okay. And so what I'll do, I'll just hold this
Yes.
and let y'all talk.
If
Okay.
you-
Just have a seat.
Yes, sir.
Next case is cause number M 333-073. Case is style state of Texas versus Dustin Tillery. Mr. Tillery, you can come forward. Oh, here it is, right. This is cause number M 333-0773. The case is styled as the state of Texas versus Dustin Lee Tillery. Mr. Tillery, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Tillery, you're representing your case by your attorney, Attorney Brennan Mitchell, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Mitchell has filed a motion for continuance in this case. He has some medical concerns. Ms. Porter, do you have any objections to the continuance?
No.
Okay. Mr. Tillery? The attorney has filed a motion for continuance. And the state is not opposed. The court is going to grant this motion for continuance. Give us a reset date. This case will be reset to October 2nd of 2023. I'm gonna get your reset here in court from our court coordinator on the forend. Once you get your reset, you're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Sir, you too.
You're welcome.
Two cases involved here.
Okay. There you go. Macario Perez Mendoza. That's him. Does he speak English? Just have, tell him to take a seat. Just, we're gonna reset his case, his attorney, and he has the same lawyer. Where's that? I don't see a motion on that. Mendoza? Court is in session and calls numbers M 333-197, cause number M 333-199. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Richard Trimble. Hold on a minute. Okay. Mr. Trimble, your full name is Richard Patrick Trimble. How you doing, Mr. Trimble? You doing good? That's good. Now, Mr. Trimble, you're represented in your cases by your attorney, Attorney Bruce Smith. Attorney Smith is sick, so he's out sick, and he has filed a motion for a continuance. State, are you opposed to the motion?
No, we're not.
Continues? Okay, and so the state is not opposed to this motion for continuance. The court is going to grant the motion for continuance in both of these cases. That basically means you're gonna be given another court date. What date is that case is gonna be?
October 7th.
I'm going to read these bond conditions to you, and then you'll be given a copy of these bond conditions, okay? Say standard bond conditions in County Court at Law number 2. And it reads as follows: following the return of a criminal information in County Court at Law number 2 of Jefferson County, Texas, all bail bonds executed for release of any defendant named herein are ordered subject to the additional conditions. Number 1, the defendant shall commit no offense against the laws of this state, any other state, or of the United States. Do you understand that condition? Condition number 2, the defendant shall submit to testing for drugs and alcohol at any time as directed by the court. The court may revoke the bond and order arrest of any defendant who A, refuses to submit to a test for drugs and alcohol when directed to do so by the court, or B, submit to a test for drugs and alcohol and the test indicates the presence of drugs and alcohol in the defendant's body. Do you understand that condition? And condition number 3 and 4 doesn't apply. However, condition number 5 does apply. And condition number 5 states, defendant is prohibited from possessing a firearm or ammunition unless defendant is a peace officer as defined by section 1.07 of the Texas Penal Code, actively engaged in employment as a sworn, full-time, paid employee of a state agency or political subdivision. Do you understand that condition?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Trimble, if you violate any one of these conditions, your bond can be revoked. And if your bond is revoked, a warrant will be issued for your arrest and you'll be placed in the Jefferson County Jail. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Trimble, your cases have been reset. You will get a copy of the reset and you will get a copy of these bond conditions, okay? Just have a seat in that first chair by the wall. And then when the court coordinator have everything ready for you, she's gonna call you to a window and you have a blessed day. Okay. Next case is cause number M332074, case is style of state of Texas versus Juan Joel Espinoza Lara.
I'll need to translate Mr. Mark. And I don't need one of those constant things.
Oh,
I already explained it to him inside.
Jefferson County Code Law number 2 is back in session and cause number M332074. Case is style of state of Texas versus Juan Joel Espinoza Lara. Mr. Espinoza Lara speaks Spanish. His attorney Charlie Rojas is fluent in Spanish and English. Mr. Rojas, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Rojas, do you swear or affirm to interpret Spanish to English and English to Spanish? So help you God.
I do.
Mr. Rojas, how are you doing?
Doing well, Judge.
And ask Mr. Espinoza Lara if his full name is Juan Joel Espinoza Lara.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And ask Mr. Espinoza Lara how he's doing.
I'm good.
He's doing good? That's good. Now,
He said he understands a little bit, so I think we're good if we get to his department.
oh, okay, so he does understand some English, okay. Mr. Espinoza Lara, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that you, Juan Joel Espinoza Lara, on or about October 17 of 2021, while you were operating a motor vehicle in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Mr. Espinoza Lara, do you understand what you have been charged with? Yeah, speak up.
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, well, first of all, Mr. Rojas, do you waive a record in Mr. Espinoza Lara's case?
We do, Your Honor.
Okay, now, Mr. Espinoza Lara, I need to swear him in. Mr. Espinoza Lara, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Yes. Okay, you may put your hand down. Now, Mr. Espinoza-Lara, I'm going to read this information to you again. This information that was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office states that on or about October 17th of 2021, while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated with an alcohol concentration level of 0.15 or more. Mr. Espinoza-Lara, do you understand what you have been charged with? You do? And to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Guilty? Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? Yes? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Rojas, yeah, check the wrong box. Just check the A, not the one at the bottom. That was a B. D of I doesn't have a box on that form. On the form, but just the A. Okay, thanks. Now, Mr. Espinoza-Lara, I have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Do you recognize this document? Now, on this document, there's on page one box is checked. The box that's checked states that this is a Class A misdemeanor. And if you're convicted, the range of punishment for this offense is a fine that does not exceed $4,000, jail time that does not exceed 365 days in jail, or you could be given both such fine and court costs. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials, JJE. Did you place your initials on this document? And the initials are on a line next to a box that says check guilty. There's a signature on page 3 of this document above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yeah.
Yes. And on the next page, the next document, which is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant? At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that is titled Defendant? Now, Mr. Espinoza-Lara, on the first document that I showed you, the misdemeanor plea admonishments, there's a set of initials below the paragraph that is titled Citizenship. And are these your initials?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did your attorney, I'm just going to read this sentence on the citizenship. It states, if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea of guilty and nolle contendere may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
And do you still want to go forward with your plea?
Yes, so I can finish, get over this.
Okay. Now, Mr. Lara, Are you a citizen of the United States?
Resident.
Okay, you're a resident, you're not a citizen? Okay. Now, Mr. Laura, I have a document before me. This document that is in Spanish states that it's for all foreign nationals except those from mandatory notification countries. Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And is this your signature on the line that's stated signature?
Yes.
And there's a circle around the word no, and it's below the sentence that says, do you want us to notify your consular officers at this time? And did you circle no? Now, Mr. Laura, before you sign and initial all of these documents that I've just shown you, did your attorney, Mr. Rojas, go over everything in these documents with you in Spanish? And did you understand everything that Mr. Rojas went over? And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Okay. And Mr. Rojas, pursuant to the case of Perdue versus Kentucky, did you advise your client as to the consequences of not being a U.S. citizen and pleading guilty of no contest in this case?
I did, Your Honor.
And did he understand?
Yes.
No. Mr. Espinoza Laura? Well, state, I have before me a document, State's Exhibit number 1. Would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1 to evidence?
Yes, we would.
No objection.
No objection, State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted into evidence. And Mr. Rojas, you have advised and counseled Mr. Espinoza Lar. Is there any evidence that he's currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Espinoza Lar, your attorney, Mr. Rojas, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes,
Mr. Espinoza Lara, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that plea bargain agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty, the state has offered 180 days over 1 year probation, 100 hours of community service, $1,000 fine, interlock, and court costs.
Mr. Espinoza Lara, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you will be placed on probation for 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $1,000 plus court costs of $407 plus probation fee of $60 each month plus a urinalysis fee of $15 each month plus a $15 reimbursement fee. You will also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI education and initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Mr. Espinoza Lara, the total amount that you will be required to pay each month is $211 a month. Will you be able to pay the $211 each month?
No.
You will also be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate, attend and complete a DWI education class, have a drug and alcohol assessment, and you will be required to adhere to the other standard terms of DWI probation. Mr. Espinoza Lara, do you understand the state's offer? Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer? Mr. Espinoza Lara, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. You're gonna stand on the X next to your attorney, following the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. And you have a blessed day as well, Mr. Rojas.
Thank you, Judge.
Just one thing on that one.
One other thing.
Next case is cause number M329730, case of style of state of Texas versus Jason Oliver Chandler. This is cause number M329730, case of style of state of Texas versus Jason Oliver Chandler. Mr. Chandler, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chandler, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Chandler, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Mr. Chandler, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Chandler?
Doing well, how are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Chandler, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney James Macon. Attorney Macon, how are you doing?
For Monday, really good, Your Honor.
That's good. Now, Mr. Chandler, the state is represented by Attorney Kobe Hoffmeyer. Attorney Hoffmeyer, how are you doing?
Good job.
Mr. Macon, do you waive a record in Mr. Chandler's case?
We do so, Your Honor.
Mr. Chandler, I have before me a document that is titled Information.
Your Honor, quickly, the states, as part of the plea agreement, states agreed to abandon the enhancement paragraph and proceed only on our DWI first.
Okay,
That's correct.
okay. Okay, now, Mr. Chandler, the state is offering that you serve, well, the state has filed a document that is titled information. This information alleges that on or about February 2nd of 2021, while you were operating in a motor vehicle in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated. Second, however, the state is abandoning the enhancement paragraph, which means that instead of being charged with the Class A misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated, second, you're being charged with the lesser included offense, the Class B misdemeanor offense of driving while intoxicated first. Do you understand what you have been charged with? Okay. And to discharge Mr. Chandler, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, you're pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
I am.
And are you pleading guilty because you're guilty?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chandler, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. Yeah, two boxes marked that. I guess you had the tablet that didn't have the eraser.
And the state did too, with our resume wouldn't work. So
Okay, so I erased the second.
that's fine.
Okay, because it was looking for, okay. So now, Mr. Chandler, I'm gonna show you a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment, also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document? And I just wrote the word first up here, and I put my initials. I wrote the word DWI first up here, and I put my initials right there. Okay. Now, on page 2 of this same document, there are 2 sets of initials. One set is your attorney initials, and the other set, JC, or your initials. Did you place your initials on this document?
I did.
On page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled Defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
It is.
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's marked. The first box that's marked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement? The second box that's marked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
I do.
I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document? And is this your signature on the line that's titled Defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Chandler, before you sign the initial, all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney, Mr. Macon, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything that Mr. Macon went over?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
And Mr. Chandler, are you a citizen of the United States? State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment. And I have before, and State, would you like to offer this exhibit into evidence?
Yes, sir.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
No objections. State's Exhibit Number 1 will be admitted. Mr. Macon, you've advised and counseled Mr. Chandler.
Yes, Your
Is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Chandler, your attorney, Mr. Macon, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chandler, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for plea of guilty or no contest, state's agreed to recommend 180 days jail, probated for 2 years, $1,000 fine, and court costs, 80 hours of community-based service, interlock device, and all other standard terms on DWI probation.
Okay. Thanks. Mr. Chandler, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not be required to serve any time in the Jefferson County Jail on this case because you'll be placed on probation for a period of 2 years. During that 2-year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $1,000 plus court costs of $407. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month, and you'll be required to pay a reimbursement fee of $15. You will also be required to pay Jefferson County DWI Education an initial evaluation fee of $125 on the day of the plea. Should a further evaluation be needed, you'll be required to pay an additional $50. Now, your total monthly installments, that is a total amount that you'll be, let me see your, that's 24 months. Now, your total amount that you will have to, that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation is $140 a month. Will you be able to pay the $140 each month? All right. You will also be required to perform 80 hours of community service. You will be required to install an interlock device on any vehicle that you own or operate. You'll also be required to attend and complete a DW education class. And you'll be required to have a drug and alcohol assessment in addition to adhering to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Mr. Chandler, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
I do.
And do you accept the state's offer?
I do.
Mr. Chandler, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Chandler, you're going to stand on the X next to your attorney and follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay, this is cause number M 330-382, case of style of the state of Texas versus Emmett Charles Young. Mr. Young is on Zoom. Mr. Young, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing this morning, Young?
Doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Young, you're represented in your case by your attorney Dustin Galmore. Attorney Galmore, how are you doing?
Great, Judge. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Galmore, what is your announcement in Mr. Young's case?
Ready, Judge.
State.
We're ready.
All right. Mr. Young, you need to be here tomorrow at 1:30 in person. That's the time we pick a jury. Okay?
Okay.
We'll see you tomorrow at 1:30. You have
All
a
right.
blessed.
Thank you. You too.
You're welcome. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is now in session and calls number M 331-291, case of style of the state of Texas versus David Rayner. David Rayner was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. At about 9 a.m., the court's bailiff called the name of David Rayner at the courthouse door. David Rayner did not answer. David Rayner has not appeared in court since the court's been in session. David Rayner's attorney is present in court, Mr. Dustin Galmore. The time now is 10:51 a.m. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of David Rayner at the courthouse door? David Rayner's name was called again at the courthouse door. David Rayner did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Rayner an opportunity to appear in court. He did not appear in court, and I just note for the record, there's a memo that stated defendant must be present on August 21st, 2023 in person, which is today's date. State, do you have a motion? That motion will be granted. David Rayner's bond will be forfeited and warrant shall be issued for his arrest. And cause number M 331-291.
Judge, the state is, I'll let you know, the state's abandoned and hands on paragraph. So a deed of our second to a deed of our first.
Okay. So abandon the enhancement. Okay. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is now in session and calls number 23CCCR of 0404. Case style the state of Texas versus David Allen Rogers. Mr. Rogers, is that your full name?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Rogers, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Rogers, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Rogers, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Rogers?
I'm doing all right, Your Honor. How about yourself?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Now, Mr. Rogers, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that you, David Allen Rogers, on or about November 16th of 2022, while you were operating a motor vehicle in a public place in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of DWI second. However, the state is abandoning the enhancement paragraph, which basically means that you will not be charged with a DWI second. You will be charged with the lesser included offense of DWI first, which is a Class B misdemeanor offense. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And to this charge of DWI first, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, Your Honor.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Rogers, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishments. Let me do this here. If I do that one, let me go to this document. Okay, Mr. Rogers, I have before me a document in a court's file that is titled Judge's Explanation of Rights to Defendants Without Attorney, which was filed on August 1st of 2023. It has a signature that purports to be your signature. And on this document, there's a set of initials, DR, on a line next to a box that state, I want to waive my right to an attorney and represent myself. And is that correct?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
I also have another document here. This document is titled Waiver of Counsel for Purposes of Entering a Guilty Plea or Proceeding to Trial. And this document was also signed on August 1st of 2023 and has a signature that purports to be your signature. And before you sign and initial these documents that I just mentioned to you, that's in your file, did you read the documents?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
All right. Now, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials, one set of initials, DR. It's on the line next to the box that's checked NOLA contingent. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
The next set of initials, DR, are on the line below a paragraph that's titled Discovery Admonishment next to a statement that states, I do not request discovery of the evidence. I waive my right to request discovery in this case and choose to enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Now, on page 3 of this same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled Defendant. And is this your signature?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
I have another document here that is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
At the top of this document, there are two boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
The second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Rogers, before you signed and initialed all of the documents that I showed you, did you read the documents?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what you read?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rogers, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
State, I have before me States Exhibit number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishment, and States Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit, which is in the court's file. State, would you like to offer States Exhibits 1 and 2?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections, Now, Mr. Rogers, before I ask you that question. States is offering States Exhibit 1, which is the misdemeanor plea admonishment. That's the document that have these boxes that's checked on page 1. It also have boxes checked on page 2 with your initials. And your signature is on page 3 above the line as cited defendant. The state would like to use this document as evidence against you in your case. Also, the state would like to use the probable cause affidavit, which is in the court file, which is the police report, as evidence against you in your case. Is it all right for the state to use States Exhibit 1 and States Exhibit number 2 as evidence in your case?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no objection. States Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. Now, Mr. Rogers, is there any evidence that you are currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
No, sir.
Mr. Rogers, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that
In
agreement?
exchange for plea of guilty or no contest, states agreed to recommend 10 days in Jefferson County Jail and court costs. Brent has credit for 3 days, Your Honor,
Okay,
and he's going to report today, August 21st, 2023, before 6 p.m.
what's the court cost for this case? Is that $20? 70? Now, Mr. Rogers, the state is offering that you serve 10 days in the Jefferson County Jail. You'll be given credit for the 3 days that you have already served. The court cost in this case is $370. Are you able to pay the $370 court cost?
Not today, Your Honor.
So you're unable to pay it? Okay. Now, Mr. Rogers, we don't have an affidavit of it, right? I need to ask you some questions. And I'm gonna Okay. So now, Mr. Rogers, the state is offering that you serve 10 days in Jefferson County Jail, you be given credit for 3 days. And you'll also be required to pay the court cost of $370. Do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Mr. Rogers, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Now, Mr. Rogers, you'll have until 6 p.m. to turn yourself in today. You're gonna stand on the X next to, stand on the X in front of our court clerk and follow her directions. Once you follow her directions, you'll be free to go. And she's gonna give you the paperwork that you need to bring with you when you go to turn yourself in.
Your Honor.
All right, please stand on the X and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. Go.
Thank you. Next case is cause number M331180, case of style of state of Texas versus Barbara Ray Bork.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Ms. Bork. Your full name is Barbara Ray Bork. How you doing, Ms. Bork?
Good.
That's fine. I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Now, Ms. Bork, you're represented in this case by your attorney Tom Kelly. Attorney Kelly, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Judge. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Now, Mr. Kelly, what is your announcement in Ms. Bork's case?
Your Honor,
It's on the trial document.
we are on the trial docket. I would like to ask the court for a brief reset. I believe that we have an agreement somewhat in principle. I don't want to speak for the state, but I believe we have an agreement somewhat in principle for a deferred probation.
Okay.
The information in the case alleges that Barbara's blood alcohol concentration was above 0.18. And it's my understanding that this issue has been before the court a number of different times recently.
If it's above 0.15 or more, right?
Right. It's our understanding that the government would be willing to abandon that enhancement
Right.
in exchange for Barbara accepting a deferred probation. It's further my understanding that the court may not allow that. So
I think right now we have a brief, an attorney that's briefing this for us. Lane Walker is going to prepare a brief for the court.
Okay.
And I think that we gave him like 60 days out. So in about, and then we have our briefing attorney here who's going to research it as well.
okay, and I would
So
certainly,
we can give you a date after that, because after that, we should have a definitive answer.
Okay.
Okay. So that's state, that's what y'all want to do.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's give him about a 75-day reset, something like that, because that was just last week,
okay.
last week or two, I think. Be sometime in November. Was that a good time for you?
It's fine. Just-
Okay, we're going to reset it for November 13th. Now, what we'll do, probably put in like on a pretrial docket.
That's fine, Judge.
Right. Say November 13th. Okay, that's right. Okay. Okay, you can get your reset and you'll be free to go. Next case is, well, we have two cases. Cause numbers M332076, cause number M329724. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Brett Tyler Markentel. Mr. Markentel, is that your full name? How you doing, Mr. Markentel? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Markentel, you're represented by your attorney, Attorney Tom Kelly. Attorney Kelly, what's your announcements in Mr. Markentel's cases?
Judge, I believe we've got a resolution that will extinguish both of these cases if the court would allow us as well as the state's attorney a little bit of time to deal with some logistics on that.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, we're gonna have to refile, so we can get.
Oh, so it's gonna be like a dismiss and refile or
Right.
refile?
Correct. We just need a
Okay,
little
how much time y'all
time.
need? What is it, about 30 days?
30 days is
That should be-
typical, but we can get it resolved. for the-
What I would like to do, Judge, because this deal is in principle, is if the court would allow us, when I learn that the case is refiled, if we could perhaps be an add-on, whatever date that is, to the court's docket to plead the case so that we're not
He's trying to prevent a warrant.
trying to.
Okay.
Okay. You talking about on that day? Okay.
Warrant's going to issue when the case is filed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but what we can do, we can just say they might file it this week. I'm just guessing.
Certainly possible.
If, I mean, that's up to because
He's
the
given-
state and the defense, we can give you a date,
Mhm.
but if y'all say, let's say it's filed Thursday, and y'all come in and say, we want to plead Thursday,
Sounds great.
we can do that, but we'll just have a date because we can't just
Right.
That's
not have a
understood.
date.
That's understood.
Right. Okay, but y'all gonna have to keep track of
Well,
that.
he will.
Yeah,
Very aware.
Well, I mean-
Yes, Judge.
yeah.
We worked hard on this one.
Okay, give us let's give them, let's reset it a week. I'm thinking that'll, so that they can go ahead on and do what they need to do
Sure.
with filing it.
Well, we're gonna set it, September 11th, we're out on the board.
Oh, September 11th? Y'all just want to plead on the same day, that's, I understand.
Mhm.
Okay, as they've done in the past, these type of refiles. All right, so this case is going to be reset, September 11th, 2023. You're gonna get your reset from your attorney. Once you get your reset from your attorney,
So we're gonna get them back to the trial.
yeah, just put it on a
Pre-trial.
announcement, pre-trial. Right, it's plea docket because it's set for a plea on that day. Okay, all right. You can get your reset, Mr. Kelly. Once you get your resets, you'll be free to go. You have a blessed day. And Mr. Mercantile, once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go as well. And you have a blessed day.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're
very
welcome.
much.
You're welcome.
It's been reset.
DeAndre Blewett. Okay, so this was just reset with his felony.
Yes,
Mr. Blewett, your full name is DeAndre Blewett? How you doing, Mr. Blewett? That's good. Mr. Blewett, you're represented by your attorney, Attorney Bruce Smith. Attorney Smith, how are you doing?
fine.
I'm doing fine. Now, Mr. Smith, what's your announcement? You said his felony case was reset?
Yes, Your Honor, it's been reset. We're going to do a bench trial at some point in a couple of months. And Judge Westport.
Oh. Do you have your dates?
They did not give us dates.
Okay, so what we'll do, we'll have our court coordinator to check the computer. And so once they give you a date, we're gonna reset this case on the same date. That's how you want it? Okay. Now, Mr. Blewett, stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank
You're welcome.
I also had a joke.
Joseph Magdaleno,
Yeah, we
Magdaleno.
he's on his way. He'll be here in a second.
Okay,
We had him in felony court.
okay,
We took care of the felony case and the agreement was that the UCW case here in your court is going to be dismissed for a forfeiture, forfeiting the weapon.
okay.
I sent that through. Which is, he's got.
Yeah, he's on his way. Okay.
Yeah.
Just have a seat, so we'll
Just gotta go.
call this case back. Mr. Barry, did I pronounce your first name right? Just shunning you. Yes, sir. Okay, this is cause number M332708. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Jashaniel Ray Berry. Mr. Berry, how are you doing? I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Berry, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Wright Kimbler. Attorney Kimbler, how are you doing? You said what?
Fighting this COVID.
You said cold or COVID?
COVID, just feeling it. May have, I don't know, been coughing.
Well, you need to go outside right now. Okay. on the new case, you're not on it, but we can set both of these cases on the same date
Can we, Your Honor? Yes,
and give you an opportunity to file a letter of representation on the second case.
yes, sir.
Okay, so we're gonna keep it on the announcement docket.
So
Okay.
August 29th.
No, she gonna,
That was
whatever this
October
date is, yeah,
16th. So we'll
she
keep
gonna-
it
yeah.
October 16th.
Yes.
and both of them gonna be together.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we're gonna reset these cases with the October 16th, 2023.
Thank you.
Okay, once you get your reset, you'll be free to go. Mr. Smith and Mr. Lane, you'll be free to go as well. You have a blessed day, Mr. Lane. You have a blessed day, Mr. Smith.
Yes.
This is cause number M333732, case is style of state of Texas versus Justin Trey Bishop. Mr. Bishop, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Bishop? I'm doing fine, thanks for asking. Mr. Bishop, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Jared Gilthorpe. Attorney Gilthorpe, how are you doing?
Doing well, how are you, Chris?
I'm doing fine. Mr. Gilthorpe, what is your announcement? No, yeah. What's your announcement in Justin Bishop's case?
We're ready, Chris.
State,
You're ready.
okay. Y'all need to be back tomorrow at 1:30. We'll pick a jury. All right.
Okay.
Okay, if you might have a phone, you need to turn your phone off. We have John Fitzgerald Rice.
That was a motion for the different stuff.
Oh, it was?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rice? Would you come forward? Okay, Mr. Rice, you represented, okay, by attorney Brian Lane. Mr. Lane is in trial in Hardin County. And he's filed a motion to continue this case. State, you have any objections?
No.
Okay. Court is going to grant this motion for continuance. Your case will be given another reset date for trial. Give us that date.
October 20th.
Okay, it's gonna be reset October 25th. (2023). Mr. Rice, gonna get your reset from our court coordinator. Once you get your reset from our court coordinator, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. You're right.
Yes, that's one thing. It's gonna be October 2nd.
Oh, I need to change that date on that motion.
This is.
Okay, Mr. Cobb, you have a couple of cases. Hold on a minute. You have George Net. Is Mr. Net here? Did you come forward? No, he's set today. Mr. Net is set today for a jury trial And what is your announcement in Mr. Nett's case?
I think in his best interest, we need to do probably an unagreed plea. And I think I'm gonna be able to be back on Friday. And if you could reset it for Friday, let's go ahead and take care of Mr. Nett at that time.
What do you mean? Well, I mean, first of all, Mr. Cobb, where are you?
Tyler,
Okay, and
scheduled for today.
you said set for the day. Are you in trial?
So we're gonna find out, but I'm trying to convince my client to take an open plea.
Well,
So
okay.
right now,
What time are you,
has adjourned us for tomorrow.
and for what time?
Today.
What did you say? You said it, what did you say about jury selection?
We're basically gonna either do it tomorrow, or like a jury tomorrow, or we're gonna go ahead and do a plea. I'm trying to convince them to take the plea so we can be finished here. But then if it's an open plea, he's gonna probably have to have a sentencing schedule.
Right. But, okay, so,
Case here.
okay, so what court are you in?
I'm in the 7th District Court here in Smith County, Tyler.
You said the 7th District Court?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who's the judge?
His name is Terry Russell.
Gary Russell?
Yeah, so he's a man. Kerry Russell, RUSSELL.
Okay, now, it says Judge Kerry Russell. You said the 7th District
Yes, he's the 7th District.
in Tyler?
Excuse me?
You said it's in Tyler, Texas?
Tyler, Texas, yes, yes, sir.
Okay, now, y'all haven't picked the jury yet, right? Or y'all might pick one today? When is he scheduled to?
Do an open plea tomorrow. We're gonna do a
What time?
plea for 7 years or open, or we go and actually do jury selection, go through. We're gonna, try his case, try punishment for jury.
Okay, let me, what time is jury selection?
8:30.
Okay, well, you need to keep us posted on that. Your client is gonna be asked to come back here for 1:30. And if your case get this 1:30 tomorrow, because he's set pretty high on this docket, and we need to hear from you because if your case falls through, you need to be back here at 1:30 on tomorrow. All right?
Most likely, we're gonna proceed tomorrow. So I think that,
We'll find out.
find out for sure whether or not he's gonna plead.
Okay.
If he doesn't, is there any way we could reset his case?
Now, we're not gonna reset this right now. If any,
I don't think it's in his best interest to do the jury trial. I tried to convince him of that fact.
I understand, but I don't need to, you don't need to tell me about your communications with your client. I'm just telling you that, if that case falls through, in Tyler, you need to be here tomorrow at 1:30, and we're going to check with the judge on this case as well.
Okay, I'll have to,
Yeah,
see if I can get transport down there, to get there at 1:30.
okay, well, yeah, like I said, this case is set, to pick a jury at 1:30 on tomorrow. Mr. Nett, you need to be,
I'm not able to get down there by 1:30, what should I do?
I don't know that, I can't tell you what to do, but I'm just saying that you need to be here for 1:30. If the,
And all that, the only thing is I could, have to try to get the next day.
well, we got a jury, we'll let you know, we got a jury that's set for 1:30 on tomorrow. Okay, this case has been on the docket, long enough. All right, and then you can get your reset for tomorrow. Okay, the next case we have is Danny Ariola. Okay,
He's going to, pick one pre-trial version, and I'm trying to get.
okay, just hold on. We
So,
this is cause number M332660, case of style of state of Texas versus Danny Chavez Ariola. Mr. Ariola, is that your full name? Now, Mr. Ariola, your attorney, Mr. Cobb, is on the line, on the telephone line, and he's in court in Tyler County. Mr. Cobb, you state that Mr. Ariola you're applying for pretrial diversion, is that correct? Okay, give us a reset date.
October 9th.
October 9th? No, does he have a sign-up date?
He said he's trying to check with the DA.
Let's do December, the second week in December.
So the second week.
Yeah,
That would be December 11th.
okay, this case will be reset December 11th. Give you an opportunity to get your letter to the district attorney's office to see if your client qualifies for pretrial diversion. Mr. Ariola, just have a seat. Your case is gonna be reset. Once your case is reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day. Just have a seat. The next case is Adrian Hernan Heathen Brown.
yes, he still has a felony, I believe.
Yeah, he's in felony court. Now, you want us to reset this with the felony? Okay, so Mr. Cobb, this will conclude your cases. Again, you need to check with us tomorrow. This case on Mr. Ned is set to pick a jury at 1:30 on tomorrow. All right, you're free to go and you have a blessed day. You're welcome. Jefferson County Court at Law number 2 is back in session. The court is in session in cause number 23CCCR 1160, case to stop the state of Texas versus Joseph W. Magdaleno. Mr. Magdaleno, is that your full name?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Magdaleno, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Magdaleno, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Magdaleno, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Magdaleno?
So,
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Magdaleno, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney Bruce Smith. Attorney Smith, how are you doing? That's good. Now, Mr. Smith, do you waive a record in Mr. Magdaleno's case?
We do, Your Honor.
Mr. Smith, I have before me a document that is titled Motion to Forfeit in cause number 23 CCCR 1160. Mr. Magdaleno, there's a signature on this document on the line that's titled defendant. You recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, Your Honor.
There's also a signature from the state. I think that's Attorney Bobby Hofkart, it's your signature. Now, Mr. Magdaleno, before you signed and initialed this document, rather, did your attorney go over this document with you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you read and understand everything in this document? And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
And Mr. Magdaleno, do you want the court to grant this motion to forfeit this weapon to the Beaumont Police Department?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. The court is going to grant the motion to forfeit the weapon in cause number 23 CCCR 1160 to the Beaumont Police Department. State, do you have an additional motion?
Judge, we have a motion to dismiss. The state's understanding is that through a plea agreement in the felony court that extended Mr. Magdaleno's felony probation, the agreement to dismiss him in the case along with the court.
Okay,
So part of that agreement.
is that correct, Mr. Smith?
Except that it is technically misdemeanor probation in a felony court.
Okay.
Or A, whatever.
Otherwise, Mr. Alfire is correct.
Ariel.
Mr. Magdaleno, the court just signed the dismissal. You'll be able to get a copy of the dismissal from your attorney. Once you get a copy of the dismissal, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
You as well, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric on and Arrington.
Okay, one of them finished. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Different.
I wasn't meaning to be,
It's okay.
because I'm gonna be here.
This is cause number M329-776. Case is styled the state of Texas versus Claire E. Arrington. Ms. Arrington, is that your full name?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Arrington, would you please raise your right hand? Ms. Arrington, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Arrington, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Ms. Arrington?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking.
That's good. Ms. Arrington, you're represented in your case by your attorney, Attorney James Paget. Attorney Paget, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Paget, do you waive a record in Ms. Arrington's case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Arrington, I have before me a document that is titled information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that on or about April 18 of 2021, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed to Class B misdemeanor offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 2A. Ms. Arrington, do you understand what you have been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
And to this charge, Ms. Arrington, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Now, are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? And are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Arrington, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishments. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, Your
On page 2 of the same document, there's a signature, a set of initials on a line next to a box.
Sorry about that. Your Honor, also, I explained this to her as a Class B. It looks like I accidentally marked that, mistakenly marked that as a Class A.
Oh, yeah, you
And I
did.
explained it to her as a Class B. And
Okay,
that's why when you said it, you turned it around, I just.
yeah,
saw
you
it
could
out
change it.
the Corner of my eye, so I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure this is, I mistakenly put an X here. I explained how to check, I explained it to you the right way. So
Okay.
I'm going to erase it here. And I'll put mine.
Okay, now, Ms. Arrington, I have before me a document that is titled misdemeanor plea admonishment, also labeled as State's Exhibit number 1. Do you recognize this document? On page 2 of this same document, there's a set of initials on a line next to a box that's checked guilty. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that is titled defendant. Is this your signature?
Yes, sir.
On the next document that's titled trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes,
At the top of this document, there are 2 boxes that's checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. You understand that statement? The second box that's checked states that you are waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I have another document here on paper. This document is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Now, Ms. Arrington, before you signed and initialed all of these documents that I just showed you, did your attorney, Mr. Paget, go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct
Yes, sir.
to the best of your knowledge? Ms. Arrington, are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit number 1. State, would you like to offer State's Exhibit number 1?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any
No
objections?
objections to states 1, Your Honor.
No objections. State's Exhibit number 1 will be admitted into evidence. Mr. Paget, you're advised in counsel. Mr. Arrington, is there any evidence that she is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None, Your Honor.
And Ms. Arrington, your attorney, Mr. Paget, has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Arrington, I will accept your plea of guilty. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargaining agreement?
Yes, we do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of guilty or no contest, the state is offered 180 days in Jefferson County Jail, probated for 1 year, $750 fine, 60 hours of community service, and court costs.
That is our understanding, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Arrington, the state is offering that you serve 180 days in the Jefferson County Jail. However, you will not be required to serve any time in jail because you'll be placed on probation for a period of 1 year. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $750 plus court costs of $292. You will also be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a urinalysis fee of $15 each month, and a reimbursement fee of $15. Your total monthly installments, that is, the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you're on probation, is $178 a month. Will you be able to pay the $178 each month? You'll also be required to perform 60 hours of community service and adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of your probation. Ms. Arrington, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just? And do you accept the state's offer? Ms. Arrington, I'll follow the plea bargaining agreements that you have entered into with the state. Ms. Arrington, you're going to stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following her directions, you'll be free to go, and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next case is cause number M334112. Case is style of State of Texas versus Leonardo Raul Carrion. Mr. Carrion. Mr. Carrion, your full name is Leonardo Raul Carrion.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Carrion, would you please raise your right hand? Mr. Carrion, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Carrion, you may put your hand down. How are you doing, Mr. Carrion?
You good, are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Now, Mr. Carrion, I have before me a document that is titled Information. This information was filed by the Jefferson County District Attorney's Office. In this information, it alleges that you, Leonardo Raul Carrion, on or about January 12th of 2023, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you was charged with the Class A misdemeanor offense of attempted invasive visual recording. You understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor.
And to this charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, no contest?
No conflict.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Carrion, I also have before me a document that is titled Misdemeanor Plea Admonishment. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 2 of this same document, there are a set of initials, LC, on the line next to boxes checking no contendory, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of the same document, there's a signature above the line that's titled defendant. Now, is this your signature? You just put, that's Leonardo C?
Yes, sir.
That's your signature?
Yes.
And on the next page, or on the next document, that's titled Trial Court Certification of Defense Right of Appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
At the top of this document, there are two boxes. There are two boxes checked. The first box that's checked states that this is a plea bargain case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
Second box that's checked states that you're waiving your right to an appeal, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that statement?
Yes, sir.
I also have before me a document that is titled Discovery Certification. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that's titled defendant? Now, Mr. Carrion, before you sign and initial these documents, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge? So carry on. Are you a citizen of the United States?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me States Exhibits 1 and States Exhibit number 2, the probable cause affidavit. State, would you like to offer States Exhibits 1 and 2?
Yes.
Any objections, Mr. Paget?
No objections to states 1 or 2, Your Honor.
No objections, States 1 and 2 are admitted. Mr. Paget, you've advised in counsel, Mr. Carrion, is there any evidence that Mr. Carrion is mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None, Your Honor.
Mr. Carrion, your attorney, Mr. Paget has advised and counseled you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carrion, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea and waivers were freely and voluntarily given. And I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
We do, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
In exchange for the defendant's plea of no contest, the state has offered 12 months deferred, $500 fine, 80 hours community service and court costs.
That is our understanding, Your Honor.
Me, Mr. Severe Method, yeah, calculating.
He's gonna figure out your mistake. Communicate with him more.
Okay, Mr. Carrion, the state is offering that you serve 12-month deferred adjudicated probation. During the 12-month probationary period, you will be required to pay a fine of $500 plus court costs of $337. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month, a year analysis fee of $15 each month, and a reimbursement fee of $15. Your total monthly installments, that is the total amount that you will be required to pay each month while you are on probation, is $159 a month. Mr. Carrion, will you be able to pay the $159 each month?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carrion, you will also be required to perform 80 hours of community service and adhere to the standard terms and condition of this deferred probation. Mr. Carrion, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer? Mr. Carrion, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Carrion, if you successfully complete this probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It will not result in a conviction on your record. And you may qualify for non-disclosure. You could talk to your attorney about the non-disclosure because he's quite confident in those matters. Now, Mr. Carrion, this will be your attorney. Follow the directions of the clerk. Once you finish following the clerk directions, you'll be free to go.
Your Honor.
And you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Oh,
One more.
you talking about Paget?
Are you talking about me? Do I know you?
Huh?
I'm not representing.
What?
I think
Jefferson County Court at Law number 2, back in session, the cause number M332907, case of South State of Texas versus Jeremy Lee Ford. Jeremy Lee Ford was scheduled to be in court this morning at 9 a.m. At about 9 a.m., the court's able to call the name of Jeremy Lee Ford. Jeremy Lee Ford did not answer. Jeremy Lee Ford has not been in court since the court has been in session. Jeremy Lee Ford's name was called again prior to this call. The time now is 12:10. Mr. Bailiff, would you please call the name of Jeremy Ford at the courthouse door? Jeremy Ford's name was just called again at the courthouse door. Jeremy Ford did not answer. A reasonable time has passed to give Mr. Ford an opportunity to appear in court. He has not appeared in court. State, do you have a motion?
Statement is awful.
That motion will be granted. Jeremy Ford's bond will be forfeited and warrant shall be issued for his arrest in cause number M332907.
Here, the felony name is not in there. Once I get that, I could just, ask the church attorney.